Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No!
What day is it? Monday? Oh, Monday!
Monday, so good to me.
Hey, it's Monday.
Medical
Monday.
Changes could be coming to Michigan's marijuana law. A new set of bills now being heard in Lansing.
Marijuana is not a drug.
And the bills would have major implications to small medical growers known as caregivers.
That's some heavy shit, man.
Small pot farmers in California say the state is not standing by its promise to protect.
Big companies were supposed to be limited, but some have stacked hundreds of licenses.
Stop hitting me so hard.
Created a cartel, essentially.
You have an industry allowing for businesses to operate like cartels.
But it's a Monday.
Harm has been done by the fact that we didn't legalize it back then.
Well, I don't know if there's any harm that's been done.
There was people getting arrested, there were people getting thrown in jail. I mean, that counts, doesn't it?
What kind of joint is this, man?
Smoking marijuana all in public. You would think that shit was legal. We the Pistons in the 8, 9, and 9. Oh, bad boy, bad boy.
just another medical.
Muted. Welcome, Medical Mondays, y'all. This is your host with the most, THC in his motherfucking bloodstream, BERG. Of course, I got my returning panelist with us, Adam L. Brook, aka Mr. Hash Bash himself.
Hey now.
Our special invited guest, Anthony Freed. What was it? CEO Pharmaceutical. What? What did you say? I'm high, man.
It's a clever play on words. It's Farm, FARM, Assist.
Oh, all right.
I am the president of pharmacists. Or that just means I'm the one that's at fault for things when they go wrong.
Oh, all right.
It's all your fault.
Yeah. Shit, before we get anything, I want to thank everybody who came through to the Get Back yesterday. We got them some money coming, as well as 3 huge boxes full of coats. So, shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to JSH Enterprises and Nugget Duction Extracts for putting it on. Stay tuned for next month. There's going to be another event, I'm sure, coming up. I want to say this weekend, we got Ganja Bingo going on Saturday. And, of course, Native Made's going to be there. So if you're in the Detroit area, you like bingo, you like to smoke, show up. And huge shout out to all of our sponsors. Native Made 313, Michigan Turf Farms, Nugget Duction Extracts, Tiki Madman, SOB Labs, and Tree Street Packaging. Boom. Boom. And also, I want to remind everybody, go out and get your medical marijuana card. I personally got mine renewed this weekend, and I hit up Detroit Certification Center. You can find them on social media at Detroit Cert Center or go to their website, DetroitCertCenter.com. You can get it online for as little as 10 minutes, y'all. 10 minutes. Or give them a call or text at 248-275-6707. And there's plenty of other people out there that'll hook you up as well. We got Pure West out west. We got Michael Dewey up north. Vehicle City Social, GC3, Michigan Weedsters, and the list goes on and on, y'all. So stop making excuses. Let these politicians know that we're still here. We ain't going nowhere.
Oh, and with that Supreme Court or that Court of Appeals ruling, that card's going to help you.
Yeah, legally.
Legally, it gets you in some loopholes that you want to be in.
Definitely. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Jared, we got Blue Brad, we got Nada May, Detroit River Rat, and a few others that haven't talked yet. But much love to y'all. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, let's get into the interview, man. So Anthony, it's your first time on the show. Our usual question is, what was your first experience with cannabis?
Well,
you started saying, I'm just gonna say, you started going off before the show, and I had to stop you.
Yeah,
it was an awesome story. Man,
you preempted my you gave me the warning, the pregame warning. That was a question. So the true answer, I suppose, she's no longer with us. God rest her soul. She was an amazing woman. But the first time, I suppose, I got high was probably in my mother's womb. And then after that, I was like 16, 17. My cousin was on me. I was dealing with depression and looking at getting on pharmaceuticals for that. And I had tried a couple, and it was just fucking horrible. And smoked. And it was fucking awesome. I really hated weed, which is why he thought it was the scourge of society, which is why he had to talk so long to me. And I got high. I had been drunk like once or twice at that point in my life, and I just felt like a brainwashed little bitch. Like, like what the, I remember.
I was the same way, bro.
I remember thinking, what else are they lying to us about? Like,
I went to I was like my, well, at least till fucking middle school. I was raised like Catholic. Well, I mean, I was still raised Catholic after that, but I went to Catholic school, and that shit was a big no-no. You know what I mean? It was dope. Like, like.
Well, I think that was my problem with it, and why I considered it to be, bad for society was, I'm from a small rural town in Indiana. No one there has money. Most people deal with alcoholism or some, sort of substance in their life. If not themselves, they're someone one or two degrees of separation away from them, in their life is dealing with a substance abuse problem. And I just, was spoon-fed all that garbage from DARE and everything. And I grew up on Army bases when we weren't living in Indiana.
Oh, all right. Yeah, no, that's a big thing too. Like military parents.
My dad smoked weed. So
no way.
Yeah, that motherfucker used to eat like a bottle of niacin on fucking Sunday and then go and piss. He'd turn beet red and sweat and fucking.
No way, bro.
Like, so, yeah, these are my earliest
motherfuckers
memories.
doing that shit.
I've been around weed my entire life. I remember fucking, being babysitted by Cheech and Chong. So, but again, was swallowing that spoon-fed garbage and gravitating towards the few limited other opinions I had in my life. And then when I got high for the first time, and I didn't fucking kill anyone, I didn't rape anyone, I didn't wrap my car around a tree,
right.
I didn't climb a fucking building or anything like that.
Yeah, didn't try to see if you were gonna fly.
2-3 hours later, I was fine. I didn't even have a hangover, and I just could not wrap my head around it. I spent the next 6 years reading everything I could about substance abuse and weed, and I any class or anything like that I could take. I took it and started just like being the first guy to get the High Times edition when it was still cool before they ruined it. Reading Malcolm McKinnon, all of his shit, and Danny Danko, and the guys that were there at the magazine at the time that I now get to run into and talk to, and that's crazy to me, to know that I can take Adam out to a steak whenever I want. I owe him a steak. I fucking haven't forgot that I said I'd come over. But yeah, the other big significant thing that happened to me was shortly after that, I came to Ann Arbor for the first time and fell in love with the place on top of Hash Bash. But
so where did you live predominantly? Well, where did you grow up predominantly? Or did you said you were military, so did you bounce around?
So when I was 2.5, my mom remarried my stepfather. He's actually my stepfather. My dad died when I was young from heroin. I was about 6 months old, and my mom remarried when I was 2.5, and we went to Fort Bragg. I actually was diagnosed with leukemia shortly after that, and I would be in Fort Bragg for a couple years, but I lived in Camden at the hospital at Duke Medical Center. My father was then stationed in Istanbul. Remember, this guy's smoking weed the whole time.
Yeah.
I could hash in Istanbul.
I was too young to watch Midnight Express the first time they showed it to me. But we came back to Angola, Indiana, where I was born. And I would be chunks of a school level, where I'd go 2-3 years of elementary that in Indiana, then we'd go back to an Army base. We'd be there 2-3 years. But we then lived in Fort Campbell, which is right on the line of Tennessee and Kentucky, about an hour north of Nashville. And so I grew up around culture. You don't realize it unless you're on a military base, but there are people from all walks of life.
Definitely.
And from all over the world. You will hear every language that can be spoken on military bases. So I went to school with, kids of different Asian descent, with Europeans, with, people from African nations, from South America. And so when we'd come home, it was total culture shock. And I think that that's what I love so much about Ann Arbor is you can, while smoking a joint, walk around and, you can hear 4 or 5 language in a relatively short period of time. So
I can't. I'm half deaf, so
you're half deaf.
I just hear mumbling. It all sounds the same to me.
Anthony, I find it real funny because Ann Arbor, and I got there in the mid '80s, but Ann Arbor used to be a very conservative German farm town. Public school was taught in German until like 1930, 32. And then they realized, well, fuck, we kind of fucked up on World War I. Maybe we should stop teaching German in the public school. But that's how everyone went to school. They were learning German in Ann Arbor. And it had division street, because one side of it was dry, the college side, and the other side was town. And they had bars. But it's a whole different world today. It went from the day I moved in to the day I moved out, it doubled in population. And it went from being a town to a city.
I wonder what could have done that.
Well, it's all the university buying up all the property and then expanding.
I'm pretty sure that as ingrained as the University of Michigan is into the culture of the town, so is a crazy man throwing a big giant marijuana party once a year and telling him to fucking finger bang his cat.
Listen, I'll tell you what really pisses me off. You could call the Ann Arbor Visitors Bureau and ask them about Hash Bash, and they will have no information. They don't know state. They don't know good hotels to stay at. They don't know bad hotels to stay at. They don't know nothing when you bring up Hash Bash.
No, that is a true statement. They have never been an asset.
I've been shocked over the years. I've written them, I've called them, I've talked to them, I've ran into them at other events. And I'm like, we bring more people than any other event on one single day. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Because if you look at the football stadium, they don't bring those people into Ann Arbor. For 35,000 of them are students, and the rest are living somewhere else. So maybe 20,000 live in Ann Arbor, but the rest are getting on the freeway and driving home right away. They don't.
Well, they say for every one that goes in the stadium, 3 stay outside, 2 stay outside.
Correct.
So I don't know if you get well nowadays. I think you guys are conservative personally with your numbers. Both you and Charlie. I mean, I really think now people are starting to get into town on Thursday and stay till Sunday. I think 100,000 people plus come into town.
I've said 100,000 people for a long time, and my point is this. After a football game, there's one seating of dinner at all the restaurants. On Hash Bash Day, it doesn't stop.
None.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop. It's continuous. You can't walk in and go, hey, how long's till dinner? Because it's always going to be 45 minutes or an hour. It doesn't stop. Where football.
I remember once, I want to say the last time me and Roach went to Hash Bash, they were talking crazy time. They were giving me fucking problems about giving me fucking change for the fucking meter.
Right.
That was bullshit. That was bullshit this year and last year. That was the first time I noticed the city shutting down the street parking, so you had to go into the parking garages.
Well, the year before, right. Their reasoning is a problem, and I get it, but it's a problem.
All right, real quick. What's everybody smoking on, man?
Oh.
I'm smoking on some Original Z by Michigan Turp Farms. Shout out to Clovita in the chat, and our boy Roach is in the chat as well. What up, Joe?
I'm smoking on some Guava Tangy that I found, and it's pretty nice actually, even though it's not as fresh as I've had it, but I'm very impressed with it still. It's good. So that's what I'm doing.
Smoking on it.
Wedding Crashers, Craft Hydroponics.
Oh, I've never heard of Wedding Crashers. You ever have wedding pie?
I've had all of the weddings that one man can handle.
Absolutely.
Praise
all the cakes, all the pies.
Right.
The candy strains are the big thing right now that everybody wants. So we've actually what my company does is we're a cannabis asset management company, and we a big part of that is sales and marketing. We sell for about 200,000 square foot of canopy. And at first I was working with, pretty much any type of grow, but now I'm really looking at just keeping quality players around that understand that unfortunately weed is definitely a commodity now, and the price is going to fluctuate, and you got to be willing to play that game if you're going to play the game, or should I say pay to play the game. And one of the companies is a tissue culture lab and seed manufacturer in Bangor, Michigan, just outside of Kalamazoo.
Bangor.
Bangor, Michigan.
Oh, all right.
And you just gave me an idea for a new strain.
Oh man, I gotta get credit for it though.
Bangers and
co-produce. I gotta get a co-production or something.
Co-production. But yeah, I actually had candy cake at Med's Cafe in downtown Ann Arbor, and that was one of the better strains I've had in a very long time. But you know what?
What is it called?
I miss old school strains though, all the time. A good
what was the last strain you were talking about? What was the name?
Candy cake.
Oh, candy.
If you can find it, I recommend buying it or trying it. Tell your caregiver to grow it. Tell your dispensary to find it.
One of the most recent new strains, well, at least it was new to me that I've liked, is the permanent marker, man. What's your feelings about the permanent marker?
So we have permanent marker on the menu at Time Travelers Cannabis Company, which is a real small grow. All of these grows are caregiver grows as well that have went licensed. So they're real small. So they've tried to track down strains like permanent marker. You know, it's funny. It's got that earthy, musty, kind of almost like that little bit of permanent marker smell.
Yeah.
Just a hint of it, so you could definitely tell where they got the name for it. But it's I wish it yielded better, but it's a beautiful bud.
That's the thing I hear about it is it's
really,
not a
really
big yielder.
Dense, crazy,
and I heard
crazy
doesn't run
trichome
good
production.
either. Yeah, I heard that it doesn't run good. Everybody that I knew, but they tried to run it for a rosin. They don't get a good yield.
I haven't had anyone wash it yet, so I don't know what it does from a concentrate standpoint.
But it is phenomenal.
It is phenomenal, but that's there's a lot of reasons why there's such a high failure rate in growing genetics in your canopy that you don't know what they'll do other than produce banger weed. Is why it's so expensive to grow inside. You really need to focus on plants that are gonna bring the entire package, including yield.
But
I miss that old school Gorilla Glue or fucking Sour Diesel. Man.
Green Farm in Allen Park has Gorilla Glue to the gods right now. It's some of the best Gorilla Glue that I have ever had. Green Farm
in Allen Park?
In Allen Park, yeah.
I don't even know where. I didn't even know they had a dispensary in Allen Park.
This was everywhere, bro.
They're everywhere.
Everywhere. I see them everywhere I go.
There is good weed in dispensaries if you know what to look for.
I'm not even looking for dispensaries, though.
I'm not either. I just see the colors and I know.
Oh, yeah. They got on Jefferson.
Yeah.
In River Rouge. They got a fucking... What's Forever J's fucking shit in Inkster? What's that? Vibes?
Yeah.
Inkster Vibe,
yeah. They got a vibe in River Rouge now.
I'm not surprised.
It's crazy, man.
But it's all about the quality. And if you got the quality and it doesn't produce and people want it, charge more for it. They'll pay it.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
If there's flavors out there that you can't get or that you can get and they're just
it's
old school,
it's literally been years, it's probably going on 8 years that I haven't went to a dispensary and bought something.
Grow me some skunk #1, I'll buy all you got. Grow me some haze. I couldn't get enough. But this new stuff, okay, I get it. I see where we're at. I try.
I heard the you know, the what was that? The heavyweight heads, the wet pee, aka the wet pussy. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just saying the name. I didn't name it.
Right.
But I heard
It's
I
all right.
heard
I
it
read
through
the
the
disclaimer.
grapevine that was just a gorilla glue.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Those things happen, man. That's the cool thing about the weed game.
Yeah.
You know, all those guys that grew shit they didn't know what they had and just were producing.
Oh yeah.
All their friends were buying up everything they could grow.
Well, before shit, like, you know, started getting off and popping, like motherfuckers were growing whatever seeds they had back in the day.
All right. Can I move the conversation with Anthony on a little bit?
All right, yeah.
So, Anthony, when you went into retail, which you can talk about being the first dispensary east of the Mississippi, when you went,
it was the first dispensary I ever went to as well.
Right. What was the weed selling for back then? Do you remember?
$1,080. If you were buying it by the gram, grams were $25. Everything was $25.
Right.
The most I remember I bought
now you can get an ounce for $25, man.
For $11,200, $5,600 a pound. And Jamie and Daryl lost their fucking mind, pissed off at me. I'm like, bro, we're gonna sell it all. And we sold it all.
We sold it all, right.
So yeah, it's I miss the good old days, I guess. But
that's how it was intended to be. It was.
Hey, but you gotta say they keep on stressing the fact that Michigan is selling the most weed right now.
Well, that's because of where it's going.
It's because of the pricing. That's why.
It's because of the pricing in comparison with the fact that we're really close to all of the
other states,
the Bible Belt states that don't have it, and the state, you know,
we move a lot of weed out of here.
We sell a lot of weed, you know, to North and South Dakota. A lot of people wouldn't think that we do, but you've got to go into Montana to get to a real dispensary, and if you have to choose between driving across the plains or driving across the mountains in the middle of the winter, it's, you know, you're going to drive to Michigan and buy your weed here. Not to mention that it's just a ton cheaper. But yeah, $3.8 billion in sales. I was thinking about today because I was there was a pile of weed surrounding me that was worth about $22 million. And I was thinking, this warehouse that I'm standing in, $22 million worth of weed, and it's like pennies on the total amount that we'll sell throughout the year. It's like, so yeah, it's when you start doing the math and really looking at the breakdown and where everything goes, it's really crazy how much weed that we sell, considering that we only have a population of 10 million people, and you know, we're just pulling so many other people from Ohio. Ohio has like the most expensive weed in the country. Plus they give you these horrible weights, you know, 2.5 gram eighths or 2.8 gram eighths, whatever their freaking Buckeye stupid ass math is. I don't know. But yeah, Indiana is run by Quakers. May it always be run by Quakers. They can send all their money and help us create jobs. You know, we're happy to rebuild our cities and our towns and kind of get some of the jobs that we lost to NAFTA back. And same thing with Illinois, like Ohio. It's so expensive. Those guys over in New Buffalo are absolutely crushing it. The other cool thing in New Buffalo, for those that don't know, there is a Burning Embers, which is a Native American dispensary, and it only sells caregiver weed. So if you're a caregiver, if you're willing to go through the testing process, they have to come and inspect your grow and sign off on it. But there are there are dispensaries in the state. I think there's 3 of them like that. Maybe there's only 2, but I know for sure there's the one Burning Embers down there. I have a couple friends that sell their weed there, and they do just amazing numbers like all the other dispensaries around that area. And it's all Chicago people. It's all Michigan City, Gary, Indiana, Valparaiso. You know, if you look at the South Bend area and surrounding areas, you know, there's 1 million people that live right there between Notre Dame and, you know, the other colleges in the South Bend area. So there's a lot of people in that northwest corner of Indiana, and we're getting all of that money right now. And you know, same thing in the UP. You know, those dispensaries on the border, they crush it in the wintertime. In the summertime, it's hard because everyone, it seems like everyone in the UP grows weed, and why wouldn't you? So they don't do so good. A lot of them aren't even they're like all on a buying freeze right now up there, because they just know, like, no, everybody and their brother's growing weed up here. So, but that's the other cool part of my job is I have a client up in Crystal Falls and one in Iron Mountain. I fly from Detroit to Iron Mountain to sell weed, which, you know, is cool. I never thought that when I was a little baby trailer park kid, I never thought that was going to be a thing in my life. And then the other one is Niles. So if I was to get in the car and drive from Niles to Iron Mountain, it's like a 15-hour drive.
Right.
So it's crazy how big the state is. It's crazy how much weed we're selling. It's not what I envisioned, and it's tough right now. Nobody's really, you know, the caregivers. It's hard to compete with all of the selection that's out there and the garbage weed and the garbage prices. And even the ones that are growing quality, I know that they're getting so much less than what we used to get. Really.
Oh, bro. Yeah.
You know,
I personally know that I know people who just are barely fucking making it, like straight up. It's like it's neck and neck prices, the cost of growing and everything, bro.
Yeah,
it's sad.
It's a hamster wheel. It is an absolute hamster wheel. So that's the stressful part of my days is, you know, we have clients that, you know, they really feel that stress, even though they're a licensed grow. It definitely does not mean that you're guaranteed success. And, you know, this is caregiver quality weed. I'll put it up against anyone's shit. I couldn't tell you if the best weed I've ever smoked was going.
Hash Bash Cup. You're gonna be you're gonna enter into the cup.
One of my clients did the cup last year. I think they took second place in the indica flower category, Endo, out of Adrian.
Yeah.
So I love those guys. Those guys know how to have a good time on top of grow some really great weed. Their employees love them. That's what I'm looking for in a dispensary when I go in. If the employees are happy,
they're good people.
Yeah, that means you're probably in the right place. But yeah, it's hard out. It's really hard. It's all changed so much. I definitely will never forget where I come from, and I don't want anything to ever happen to home grows. I mean, I sell clones and seeds for a living, so I definitely don't want anything to happen to them just from a monetary, you know, for my family's well-being. But for my personal, you know, feelings on it are we haven't come far enough yet. I mean, we've done a good job. We've kind of went sideways on a couple things, and we still got fucking people in cages. We still can't fucking bank. The IRS has ostrich syndrome. Well, fuck the goddamn Ann Arbor, you know, as you just said, Adam, the Better Business Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce here in Ann Arbor, they don't, you know, think we exist.
Right.
So yeah, it's we're still not there. We're closer.
Well, we're treated like a stepchild, like the redheaded stepchild. Not to put it down the redheads, we love the gingers, but you know, it's one of those things that the government still thinks they can get away with. They certainly couldn't pull some racist shit like they did 50 or 100 years ago. You know, people wouldn't stand for this, but I always ask, where are the bodies? You know, weed isn't what you thought it was. Like you said, it didn't make you do all these crazy things you thought it would, or heard it would, or had some conception. But, and
No, I love them or hate them. I think Joe Rogan sums it up best. Those people that are fucked up, that can't figure out how to live in peace with society, that steal shit, that break into cars, that can't keep a fucking job, they were going to be fucked up whether they found weed or not.
right.
You know, and it's
What was that dispo you were talking about in Allen Park?
I think it's Green Farm, spelled PHARM. Yeah, and if you're craving Gorilla Glue,
I didn't know they were in Allen Park. I thought they were in like Rouge or something.
Well, look, man, I was born in a fucking cornfield. So my rule is
right.
if I don't drive by a cornfield, I'm still in the same town. So when I go into the metro area, I have no fucking idea where the lines are, where, you know, and you know, I'm sure it pisses off old Marshall Mathers, but like, yeah, no, if I'm fucking standing in front of the hills, I'm in Detroit. I'm in fucking Detroit.
He ain't got nothing to do with Detroit.
No, I don't.
Forget it.
So I was at I took my wife to a Cage the Elephant concert at Pine Knob. It was my first time there.
Oh,
you know, we're like a million.
Cage the Elephant. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, of course you have. They have that song. There ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees. I got bills.
Oh, all right. No, I have. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a few.
I'm like, shut the fuck up. Oh,
there's a few other songs that if I broke out the lyrics, you'd be like, oh, that's fucking Cage the Elephant. But yeah, they're like Detroit. You know, we're in fucking Clarkston.
Right. Oh, everybody does that. I mean, I knew performers that would play the Pine Knob, and I knew guys that played there so long that they still called it the Shed.
The Shed.
That was like its own private name to performers, because that's what it was the Shed. And then they kept on building on over the years. But I used to tell these guys, it's funny, you say welcome Detroit, and you know, you talk about Detroit, and none of these people live in Detroit, first of all, and we're nowhere near Detroit.
Now look at Kid Rock.
Right. We're closer to him than we are Detroit.
Yeah, now I know that I had to drive past some cornfields to get to Clarkston.
Right. You will.
So yeah, it is not the metro area.
You drive past cornfields to get to Romeo too.
Right.
But yeah, I have no idea where I am when I'm over there. But I keep on going back. I fucking love it over there. I think they've done a really good job in the downtown area.
I haven't been downtown in so long, man.
I haven't.
Town is a big tourist attraction, if you ask me.
It's become a huge,
No, last time I was downtown, I was with Adam. We were supposed to speak in an event, and I didn't speak.
Well, it feels like Hash Bash is right around the corner. Why does it feel that way? 6 months out.
Yeah.
The older you get, the faster time flies by. Bro.
Yeah, Harry Barracuda says it's the seasons are like weeks to him.
Yeah. I love Harry. He's the best.
Shout out to Rich. He's up in the comments. Cushy Kai. Malamute.
Rich Burkett, free the weed.
James Holland, what up, dope? Prop one. Yeah. I don't think there's a dispensary in Allen Park. There was a couple that got shut down by the city. They're like, oh yeah, we don't want that shit.
It's
There's
not
an
Allen Park,
there's
but
a 7-Eleven in Allen Park, bro.
I'm not surprised by that.
I'm gonna find out which one it is right now.
I think it's Rouge.
What
Well,
else?
I say it's on Schaefer, but they call it Coolidge
Coolidge.
in Rouge.
In River Rouge, they call it Coolidge.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's Hazel Park.
Oh,
Oh
Hazel Park.
yeah, that's
See,
all right.
see,
That's
I'm fucking you up.
I don't even go into.
that's like a kitty
That's
corner from.
Oh wait, no,
Yeah.
it's Lincoln Park.
Oh, Lincoln Park.
Oh.
See,
No, I'm fucking with you. It's Hazel Park. You guys got too many fucking parks over there.
oh, you
There
have
is,
no
there
idea.
is.
I will.
There
So
is.
that green farm, yeah, is in Hazel Park, and it's a gorgeous building. It
I
really
think the
is.
best park over here is Grosse Pointe Park.
I don't
Park,
know if
yeah.
I've been. I don't think I've been there.
Oh, bro,
No,
it's,
trust me,
it's,
be any
you,
picture.
yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get pulled over there.
Shit. You alone?
Yeah,
Oh, that's why.
yeah.
Listen, a white guy in a car alone has got a much better chance than anybody other than.
They pulled everybody over on Grosse Pointe.
My daughter grew up on
Yeah.
the east side, so like I was over there all the time, and sometimes I just like to go for a ride, man.
Right.
I go down Lakeshore Drive and all through until it turned to Jefferson.
Yeah. But they would sit at the borders and just pull people over from Detroit.
Oh, I know, yeah. I'd
You
throw
like-
the fucking
not-
cruise control on, bro. I wouldn't give them a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The first time I got seeds, I crossed the bridge, drove over to Toronto Seed Bank, and then brought them back in across the bridge.
Ambassador?
2008.
Oh shit.
How many seeds did you bring back?
Like 1,000 or something like that. Not
I
a lot.
thought like Detroit was like the hub back in the day.
Oh, it was. Detroit, Ann Arbor, or Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor, huge. 2 largest pot busts came out of Ypsilanti. The guys that own Ned's bookstore, the 2 brothers got popped back in the 70s. But whatever. If you don't know, read about it.
There's all kinds of dispos that popped up that I've never even heard of. Bro.
Oh, it's crazy, man. There's 700 of them.
I am like, what?
There's
There's 700 of them, and that's after 300 of them have went out of business.
Bose Cannabis?
Bose? Oh, yeah. I have.
I wonder how many Bose they backdoor out of that bitch, man. Straight up.
I'm not going to say that stuff doesn't happen. I just. The balls you have to have, so like in these facilities, some people may not know this, but you have to have a camera every 20 feet, and it's a very specific type of camera. It does have audio, and they are looking for line of sight when the state inspectors go in. So if you got to have a camera every 5 feet.
But then they'll have a whole illegal facility. They'll have a whole other fucking facility growing.
But they don't monitor the cameras. They only
Of course they don't monitor the cameras.
They only have the camera
still.
to look when there's a problem. So when they catch these guys, which they showed video of the guy carrying the duffel bags from his trunk into his business, well, okay, that's because they knew he had done it. They went and saw that tape. You give yourself up. It's got to happen enough that these guys are risking getting caught, because people are getting caught doing it, which means there's a lot more of it going on than just the guys getting caught.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're not getting caught because they got seen on the video. They got caught because someone was talking shit they shouldn't have been talking or whatever.
So to me, I don't understand how the risk is worth the reward personally for me. Everything that you have to do to get licensed, and it isn't the hoops you have to jump through to get your license that's the worst part of it. It's the hoops you got to jump through to fucking maintain your licensing. And so you have blood, sweat, and tears invested into that. And if you're going to make a few extra bucks, like, are you taking into account the trade-off of stress and the fact that if they do come in, if they do happen to look at the 30 days worth of DVR, if they do come in and do a surprise inspection, which they do,
now say they're going to do more of.
How big of an asshole are you to have to go fire?
I heard they're making appointments now. They're like letting these motherfuckers. There's not even a surprise inspection anymore.
Well, there are surprise inspections and there are scheduled inspections. There are both. Right now, actually, there's a huge. We do not, at least I was so busy today, I didn't see what it is in regards to. I'm guessing that it's something to do with the exclusive indictment from a couple weeks ago from the state attorney general's office, from them finding illicit product all over their Ann Arbor facility. Caregiver oil, caregiver medibles, caregiver flour, and everything in the vault, in the packaging room, so there's a big administrative hold right now from several companies. And if it's distillate or conversion distillate from someone, but that's probably what it is. It's probably either hemp converted oil that they're now testing for, or THC conversion that they're now testing for, or something from the other indictment that rolled downhill. So yeah,
you remember that Fuego shit when that shit went down?
I do. They were in.
They had, what was it, 2 or 3 drums?
Drums, yeah.
Oh yeah, drums of an unknown, like, bruh, drums. Like,
yeah, the shit that I see is nothing that I ever thought I would see. The scale, I mean, the room I was standing in today had 250-pound bales stacked 3 stories high. This one player was expecting 85,000 pounds of outdoor flour, 150,000 pounds of trim. That's just one guy. So yeah, you can see drums of oil. Choice Labs and Jackson makes 900 liters of distillate a month. And they don't sell a fucking drop of it. They use it on all of everything that they make. Glorious Cannabis, Choice Labs makes, and all of their brands. They have so many different brands now. That place is a sight to behold. It's so technologically advanced. That's the other crazy thing about some of these places. Prime Tree, who makes Ray's Lemonade, that's one of my clients. We're at MSO. My client, my partner, he owns 7 franchises in the country, Michigan being one of those markets. We're the #1 beverage in the country. We're the #5 beverage in the state currently. The machine that we have makes 4.2 million bottles a year, 11,000 bottles in 6 hours. It bottles it, shrink wraps it, and caps it. The only thing that you got to do when it comes off the bottling line is put on the metric tag. And so, that machine costs $1.2 million. We've got 3 of them. We're sending one to Florida, hoping that that election goes for rec. Right now, they have a very limited market there. And then the other machine's going to New York. But yeah, that machine to pull that off, it takes 400 liters of distillate. So 20 pounds of weed on average per 1 liter. So you start doing numbers, and
right.
It's crazy. I'm proud personally how much weed we smoke in this state. Good job, everybody.
It's more than that. Trust me. It's a lot.
I know it is, and I know that a lot of it's going out of state, but we do as Michiganders smoke
a lot. Yeah,
a lot of weed. It's the only way to get through the winter. And so I know times are tough for everyone, but I still, there's cheap weed and fucking a body of water within 6 miles of you year round. So it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, you brought up Florida. You seen any of the No on 3 ads? I got a little video on that shit.
I have not. Their governor down there is very volatile.
Yeah.
And
we talked about it before on the show and shit. But
he definitely has a bully pulpit. He don't take no shit from anyone, and what he thinks is what he wants everyone to think. And if you're not on that side, if there's absolutely any way to fuck with you, his office is going to do that. And so there's several things on the ballot, and Florida is a very, very hard state to read politically because of the Cuban population. They're very much for marijuana, it seems. But there's other things on the ballot they're very much against. And they make up such a substantial part of metropolitan area that they really affect this. They really vote.
There are issues on the ballot that, not on the ballot, but in that proposal where it doesn't benefit people. You still can't grow your own weed. You're not supposed to be able to sue them and everything. But so the other shit that they're saying along with it is just so fucking preposterous. It's insane, bro. So
it's unfortunate that they're not going to let people grow.
Yeah.
I'm Sheriff Grady Jack.
I'm Sheriff TK Waters.
I'm Sheriff Wayne Ivey.
There's too many kids going to the ER because of weed gummies and joints laced with fentanyl.
Marijuana is dangerous if it gets into the wrong hands.
As an emergency doctor in California, I want to share with you what I've seen since we legalized weed. Every day, kids are rushed into our hospital with marijuana poisoning. Weed is packaged like candy. Kids and babies are eating it. Their eyes roll back in their head, they seize up, and some end up on a ventilator. There's not much we can do. There's no antidote. We just hope their brain recovers. Florida, learn from California. Don't make the same mistake. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Since Colorado legalized weed, I smell it everywhere.
I'm at the park with my kids, and they're like, Mommy, what's that smell?
Smells like a dead skunk. Just gross. Can't even eat my lunch.
I was fine with legalizing weed. No problem.
I voted for it, but it ruined Colorado.
California has gone to...
Wouldn't have voted for it.
Don't turn into California.
Don't become Colorado.
Vote no on Amendment 3.
Like many voters, Lena's open to Amendment 3. But there's a catch. A deal breaker she won't see on the ballot summary because they buried it deep to sneak it past voters like Lena. Big Weed wrote Amendment 3 so they can't be sued.
So they can't even be sued?
No matter what goes wrong, if people get sick, corporations make billions but can't be held accountable.
There's no way I'm voting for Amendment 3.
It's corporate greed, not freedom.
Amendment 3 could legalize recreational marijuana.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm getting ready to grow my weed. Amendment 3 is on the ballot, and oh my God, who are you?
I'm Big Weed. Actually, we wrote Amendment 3, so we're the only ones that can grow it.
So I can't grow...
Not even one plant.
So Amendment 3 is not about freedom. I vote no.
Big weed, baby. We control everything.
Giant corporations don't do things out of the goodness of their heart. They do things to make money. And that's exactly why they wrote Amendment 3. Marijuana mega corporations spent $60 million putting Amendment 3 on your ballot. Why? It entrenches their monopoly, bans homegrown pot, and gives special licenses to select corporations. They wrote it, they rigged it, and they're hoping you fall for it. Amendment 3 isn't the marijuana amendment, it's the monopoly amendment.
Damn.
Damn.
Monopoly.
So I wouldn't want to vote for that, but what I find ironic about that is that knowing what I know about the political climate in Florida, there's no way you get approved a language without eliminating. DeSantis is never going to allow for home grows as long as he's in the governor's office. So the idea that, for me, the more troubling part of that that ballot proposal then becomes, if one of my clients fucks up and makes a bunch of people sick or something like that, I don't know how that would happen. Considering that we used to smoke brick weed that tasted like Tide and Coyote.
Right. These kids nowadays will never know
how you would make someone extremely sick, let alone a large group of individuals. But like, people should definitely have recourse against, companies. I would think that,
but it's never going to happen.
Well, if it could happen,
the thing about kids going to the hospital, they go to the hospital until they sober up, and then they get sent home.
Yeah,
that commercial's fucked up.
I've never heard of it. I've never heard of anybody going onto a ventilator over a fucking gummy or I've
been called a few times. I'm sure you guys have too.
Oh yeah.
If you're the local weed expert in your network, people will call, "Hey man, my kid got in my purse. Fuck man, what do I do?"
My baby got
my
trash.
Dog, man. The dog ate the film canister of roaches.
But this is what I have to say to all of that shit. If you have a brain at all in your head, it's not even a fucking thought on what would you rather have your kid find and take.
That's
a bottle of Tylenol or your fucking gummies.
Yeah.
It's not even a fucking question. You want them to find those fucking gummies because the Tylenol is going to fucking probably kill them if they eat enough of it. So what the fuck are we talking about here? This is just political propaganda written and produced to elicit an emotional reaction.
It's laced with fentanyl.
Yeah.
I don't look enough into the fentanyl thing. I do every now and then hear someone that I respect their opinion say, we are seeing this.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it on the show before, and it's like, it doesn't even, like, fentanyl doesn't even work that way, bro.
Well, yeah, no, you're preaching to the choir. Unless you're trying to hurt someone, what the fuck are you putting fentanyl?
Bro, I mean, I could totally see, like, it's laced with fentanyl. Bro, you would get more high breaking it up with your fingers than you would, like, the fentanyl part of it, Like, I don't know, man. That's just
well, yeah, I don't
so bogus. Like, it's a fucking urban myth, bro.
Yeah,
it's
I don't think that we have
that razor blade in the fucking chocolate bar. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm a fat guy. You would have thought I would have found one.
Me? I mean, I used to test all my kids' candy, bro.
Yeah. There's nothing better than fucking Jimmy Kimmel videos where he takes the kids' candy, tells the kids
that's horrible, man.
Dude, those I love those videos. Are kids getting hit by kickballs? That's my shit.
God damn,
brutal.
But yeah, I don't think, I think we have a fentanyl problem, but I don't think we have a lace.
It has nothing to do with cannabis, bruh.
Right.
And vice versa. You know, like, bruh, like, shut the fuck up with that shit. Every around, like, what's his name? Vance?
Yeah.
He was talking about bags laced with fentanyl, weed bags laced with fentanyl. Hey, shut the fuck up, man.
I heard that guy fucks couches too. No.
Is he from Ohio or some shit? I don't know.
But yeah, they are definitely saying that in every state that there's weed laced with fentanyl. That is something that they're saying.
In the meantime, when their kids take pills at a party and die, they want to tell you that their kids that was the first time their kid.
They only smoke weed.
But that was the first time their kid ever took a pill. And I'm like, no, your kid wouldn't just out of the blue decide to take a pill at a party. He's done this before. Check his system. You'll see he's got a much higher dose of the other parts of the Vicodin that he's taken. You know? Because these kids don't know.
Motherfuckers are grimy nowadays. They don't even have no fucking heart whatsoever. Motherfucker pressing up their own pills and shit. Fucking shit's wild, bro.
Yeah, it's no different than when we were kids. You know, when ecstasy first
that's
hit
why I never fuck with no pills, man.
Yeah, someone described to me how you fucking rent a hotel room and make a bunch of fucking ecstasy. I'm like, I'm good. I don't think
I'm do that shit. You know, I'm not trying.
But I do remember the second time I dropped acid, I took 4 hits. It was my second hash bash. I was 18 years old. I ended up on the rooftops of the fucking parking garages, and it's one of the times of my life. But yeah, definitely got a lot more to worry about today as a kid than I think we had to.
For sure. What's your feelings on like how mushrooms are like pushing past cannabis now? Like even at the federal level, they're talking about fucking like.
So I think mushrooms we're going to find. So the craziest thing that I've heard about mushrooms is that mushrooms from a DNA construction, how they're built, are closer to animals and us than they are plants. And that is a crazy statement because it grows out of the fucking ground, right? So how is this thing more animal than it is plant? I think psychedelic mushrooms have led us into the growing of all the lion's manes and all of the other types of mushrooms. I watched the mushroom documentary on Netflix, and the number of species is astounding.
Right.
Everything from mushrooms the size of a few grains of salt to, the size of basketballs. So I think that they're going to have more actual pharmaceutical applications and medicinal uses. I think that because of the way that they're discovering, they affect the neural pathways in our minds, and help to make new neurological pathway connections, and therefore their ability to treat.
Oh yeah, it's like
dementia,
rewiring brains and shit.
Depression, anxiety, autism, epilepsy. The list goes on and on. What they'll probably be able to discover. So I just think, and I think that it's so hard to treat diseases of the nervous system that their effect for humanity is going to be very, very profound. That being said, from a retail standpoint, I'm not as excited. I am a fiend myself. I smoke like a fucking quarter pound or more a month, plus eat a bunch of medibles, plus have a bunch of concentrates, plus 5 or 6 pens. You know,
I'm more of a flower guy personally.
I got people that
But
give
still,
me shit
man.
all the time. You know, I'm blessed
Yeah,
in
I
that
got a
I never
caregiver.
really have to buy weed.
Shout out to Michigan Turf Farm.
So I know how much weed people can buy. People are not going to eat a QP of mushrooms every month.
No.
So and ones need to have a hallucinogenic high. And I'm not talking about microdosing. I'm talking about mushrooms as a business and really how I see them working. I don't see it being as profitable. Not that that's the only reason why one wants to go into a business. You can make a fine living growing mushrooms and selling them. I just don't think that it's going to be the retail opportunity that cannabis is, because you got to smoke a lot of fucking weed to get your fix for most people. It's not a very. I know that there's some people
You're
that only
smoking
buy
fucking dispensary weed.
You know, I know that there's some people that only smoke like a joint a week or whatever.
What?
Yeah, that's a thing. I don't know where these people are, but
I wouldn't.
I for me personally, I believe if you buy weed from a caregiver or you get weed at a dispensary, you're probably buying a quarter a week minimum. So, you know, again, you start getting into the numbers, the number of people that they feel use at least, you know, once a year, they figure is getting up over 50%, and that people that they consider regular users, depending on what pie chart you're looking at, are, you know, in the 20 and 30 percentile now. Where before it was, you know, 10%, 15%, 20%, because it was illegal.
Right.
So I think that mushrooms will have a much bigger effect, and that we'll buy them in a different way for the most part, because I just feel that they are more medicinal in a more profound way. And a lot
I
of that
just think
has
it's
to go-
crazy how it's like fucking like, you know, like at one point in time it was like weed and shrooms were neck and neck. And it seems like shrooms is gonna fucking surpass cannabis in my opinion, but I don't know.
I think that for most people to microdose has a very profound effect on their mental health. And
No,
we are
all personally, it helps me a lot. Yeah.
I mean, we are a country that's definitely in the midst of a mental health crisis. And so, yeah, I can definitely see how it'll ramp up to where more people are using it. It's just, again, the way that they use it, they'll never sell. They're not going to sell as many mushrooms as we will sell.
No.
And for
at
me,
retail level, I don't see it being.
I can't.
You know, but bro, I mean, what is it? What if people could grow their own medicine?
Well, people should be able to grow their own medicine. Big part of, you know, the older I get and the more that I learn about, you know, how everything, not just here in the West, but just, you know, colonization, and, you know, how, you know, mankind, you know, has, you know, traversed the globe. It's usually through destruction of the other culture, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, you know, they burned down the fucking Library of Alexandria, right? What did we lose in that fire, right? I mean, all of the stuff from the Sumerians, from the Mesopotamians was in that building. Some of the oldest written scripts were in that building. So, yeah, that's a big part of it. And so we know that a
lot of people say a lot of that shit.
This was all
in the Vatican.
This was in indigenous ceremonies. This was a really big part of culture, and it was stolen.
Definitely.
And so, you know, if it was profound then, it's going to be.
I mean, some can say the same thing about cannabis, though. You know what I mean? Like them putting it in fires back in the day and like confining their fucking area and smoke, like basically hotboxing that shit with
Hotbox.
weed. Yeah. Like that's like the first, well, that's what they say is the first recorded time, back in Asia,
Right.
Yeah, 2,300 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
The guy that they found in Asia with seeds
Yeah.
and a cannabis pipe, a hash pipe. So yeah, different, countries in the Middle East. I mean, the best hash in the world, Morocco. So yeah, I think that a lot of this stuff is coming full circle is really all it is. And like I said,
I think it's crazy how it was the US that made fucking cannabis what it is to itself. And the rest of the world is like, yeah, we're not down with that. We want to get our money. Like Canada and Germany and all of them got fucking embargoes. They can trade and sell cannabis to each other, and bro, it's shit's so crazy.
Yeah,
how
the
much
richest
money we're just like letting go by.
Richest guy in cannabis, I think, is worth $3 billion, and he trades internationally.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's definitely it's changed so much. Sometimes I don't even know where I'm at anymore. But I still prefer this monstrosity to the monstrosity that we came from. I at least know that there's some places that we can go where I don't have any fears of being harassed or arrested because I'm smoking a joint. Worst thing that might happen is someone asks me to put it out, and that's only if I'm smoking it in the wrong place. So,
right.
I'm still, while there's lots of things I would change, I definitely wouldn't want to go back to the way things were. I wouldn't want to be Indiana.
No, but it's sure nice being next door.
It sure is. Well, I love the Hoosiers, and I love the fact that they're coming here to buy weed. I wish they didn't have to. I mean, one day that is going to happen for them, I assume.
Oh yeah.
But
I think it's crazy how Michigan has fucking like straight up. They got fucking billboards in other states for our dispensaries and shit. Shit's wild, bro.
Yeah, I don't get that one, but
how it's legal or anything, I don't know.
Yeah, we have a client. We have a customer, not a client, that we sell product to, and he's right at the state line, and he has billboards in Cleveland and Chicago.
Yeah.
And 70% of his business is to out of state, and he's got a software program that populates the map of the country with people that have bought from him. And it looks like his goddamn map has chicken pox. It's just like fucking.
Besides in Michigan.
Jesus Christ, man. You sell the whole damn country. So yeah, then you have no idea as a border, dispensary who's going to walk into your store. The second most searched phrase is, first is where do I buy weed? Second is where do I take a weed vacation? Right. So that's the next big thing is, it's not even the next big thing. It's actively happening where they're affecting tourism dollars now. I mean, Michigan already did pretty damn good as a vacation spot because of all the water that we have, all the coastline that we have, all the lakes that we have, all the cool cities that we have. But you throw into the mix that you can come here and take a weed vacation, and yeah, no one's going to tell me there's not a few more people that come and hang out in Ann Arbor a year. There's not a few more people that come to, New Buffalo. New Buffalo is going to fucking be changed by this. It's that big of a deal. You've got stores over there doing 1,000 transactions, multiple stores doing, 1,000 transactions a day.
Dude, I
And all the, but you got, I mean, at the same time, man, you gotta be real about it. Like these people are committing federal offenses by crossing state lines. You know,
I try to
the
be
dispensary owners know that these motherfuckers are going across state lines.
Yeah, but there's privacy laws, and you don't know that.
Yeah,
I mean, you do know that.
Yeah,
But you
come
don't know that.
on, come on.
No, that it is.
He got the analytics. You said your boy got the analytics. He looks at
Yeah, no, it's
he's like
70%.
doo-doo-doo. Yeah.
70%. And a motherfucker can come and buy 10 ounces and then leave his place and go buy 10 ounces somewhere else. So no, it's not exactly what we were hoping for. I think in the beginning, I definitely was naive how I thought, we would get to help shape the industry more. But no, it's definitely been the money that shaped it. It's been those that, paid to play in the beginning and probably continue to pay to play.
There's a lot of other states that are a lot worse, like
Right.
Florida or Illinois,
Yeah, no, those states, Ohio, it's such a small number of growers that they originally allowed for their medical program, and that's why their prices are so high. I know that we do it all the time in this country where we write policy that doesn't necessarily, where it seems on its face to benefit the public, but when you limit, you're basically just writing in a monopoly.
In Minnesota,
literally
they're talking
just
about
allowing
going legal. In Minnesota, they're talking about going legal, like, well, recreational, blah blah blah, and they're talking about they don't even have enough weed. If they go right now, they wouldn't have enough weed, bro. They're going to be in a weed shortage.
I mean, there was a weed shortage here for the dispensaries because
I
they
know.
rolled it out wrong. The only state that I know that actually rolled it out right is Missouri, believe it or not. They did a fair number of licenses. They issued the grow licenses first, got all of them up and running, and then started issuing the processing and dispensary licenses that way. When about the time that the grows were doing their first harvest, the dispensaries were open, and that way there was no real shortage in products. There was also no, 1,000 or 1,500 licenses issued in the first, couple months or anything like that. It was a total of 600 or 700 total licenses that would be issued over the first 3 years, all licenses combined. And then they didn't make them like crazy expensive, but they also weren't so, you needed more than a pulse and a bank account to get one. Unlike Oregon or Oklahoma, which created the glut of product, which then, I think you had a total of 6,500 licenses in Oklahoma. And about 6 months ago, they did a purge, and it went down to like
people
3,000.
flocked to Oklahoma. I know people who moved to Oklahoma with a big dream, bro.
Big dreams.
I know people. I know a guy that he went there. He moved there. He opened up like 3 dispos. And recently, he was like, "Oh yeah, I just grow now." Like, it's
the best place to sell seeds and clones in because their licenses were $2,500 and they didn't have a plant count.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to grow, if you had the space for 1 million plants, you just needed to. That's all you needed was $2,500 in the space. You could grow 1 million plants. So, but you also had to be a resident of the state for 3 years. There was obviously workarounds to get around that, but in order to work in Oklahoma, you had to have a resident of the state on your ownership team, and he had to be the primary owner. But yeah, they fucked Oklahoma all up.
Well, like Arkansas, they got a medical program, and they were gonna plan on it's on the ballot and everything, and they're saying that none of the votes are going to count. Like all the because they got early voting and all this shit, and it was on the ballot, and a
Well,
lot of people already voted.
yeah, I
And they're
can't
like,
believe
oh yeah.
the numbers I'm seeing of people pre-voting, and without getting into a political discussion, not just as far as the election in general, not
The
just
pre-voting, not even like
yeah, they said a
absentee
million
votes,
people have
not even
already
absentee
voted in.
votes, like going
They said a
in.
million people already voted in North Carolina today,
That's insane, bro.
and that's got to be a huge percentage of the state's population. That they don't have a huge population in North Carolina. So yeah, that's a big chunk. So I just think it's a buckle up buttercup situation for all of us. But I've actually got to get back to the family, guys. I appreciate you letting me on.
I appreciate you coming on, chopping it up with us, man.
Yeah, Adam, I promise you, I'm going to call you tomorrow and I'm going to buy you that steak.
No problem, man. I'll be in touch for sure.
Thanks for everything you do for everyone, brother.
Oh, no problem.
Talk to you guys later.
Yeah, man. Sure.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I was talking about that Arkansas.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. But it's Arkansas.
I know it is.
In a 4-3 majority ruling, justices say Issue 3's ballot title and popular name are, quote, misleading and does not line up with state law. The proposed amendment would have expanded the state's existing medical marijuana program for those who can qualify, the types of healthcare professionals who can certify patients for the program, and allow patients to grow marijuana at home. This decision means that votes cast this morning and on any future votes will not count. But keep in mind, you will still see it on your ballot. The group behind the measure, Arkansans for Patient Access, called the ruling, quote, deeply disappointing. And they promised to continue fighting to, quote, eliminate hurdles and access and lower costs. In a statement released this morning, the group points toward wanting to build on the foundation already in place and that politicians have, quote, ignored their call. Again, this all comes as Arkansans begin heading to the polls to cast their votes early. From now through November 4th, polling sites will be open to cast your ballot before Election Day, November 5th.
If I was involved in that community,
that's crazy.
I would tell people to vote yes on it and show them that even though they took it off the, it doesn't count, they took it off the ballot, that we still.
What were the numbers? What were the actual numbers? Because it included being able to grow at home.
Right. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I got that video of the fake text messages.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's a city in Colorado. They are still medical and haven't gone recreational. I guess. Well, here, I'll just play this.
Last week, text messages went out to some Colorado Springs voters telling them the El Paso County Democrats are urging them to vote no on a measure that would allow recreational cannabis to be sold in the city. The problem is the Democrats say that's not their position at all, and the texts are from, quote, bad actors. But the group behind the text says they were not misleading and stands by them. So I'm digging deeper to find out what happened.
It was this past Tuesday at 4:22, and I immediately felt that was incongruent with what I've heard from the Democratic Party.
This Colorado Springs voter was alarmed when he received a text message claiming the El Paso County Democrats are against the recreational cannabis ballot measure.
So after getting on their website, I confirmed my suspicion that was incorrect and that this proved to be false.
The voter, a registered Democrat, did not wish to be identified. He was suspicious, so he forwarded the text to Citizens for Responsible Marijuana Regulation, the group backing Question 300.
I know the voter that I spoke to that got this text message thought it was from the Democratic Party, when in fact it was from our opposition campaign.
She says the group behind the text messages and the campaign to vote no on 300 is blatantly lying.
I would hope that our opposition would go ahead and clear this up on the record, but another, in my view, slimy, misleading tactic designed intentionally to mislead voters.
But that opposition group, the Colorado Springs Safe Neighborhood Coalition, stands by it.
A, of course, no, we weren't trying to impersonate anybody. And B, I think it's a ridiculous claim that we were on the part of the Democratic Party. I think they know better. I think that they made a mistake. They're a little embarrassed about it, understandably. We all make mistakes.
The El Paso County Democrats concede there was a mistake, a technical issue on their website that posted they were against 300, which was a screenshot used in the campaign text message. The party says they often write out two different sets of information depending on how votes go, and accidentally posted the wrong stance for this issue.
It was corrected within less than 24 hours. And it seems to be during that time period, this conservative PAC, they saw an opportunity to take advantage of that and to send out some misleading information.
The Democrats and group behind 300 say the bigger issue is the text came across as an impersonation of the Democratic Party.
Regardless of the message that we put out, regardless of whether or not we supported this, it's unethical at best to be sending out that type of messaging.
That's an argument that the Colorado Springs Safe Neighborhood Coalition says does not hold water.
And we put our own disclaimer on the image that we sent out, saying that this was paid for by Colorado Springs Safe Neighborhood Coalition. So I don't think that's a serious claim.
I mean,
they're whack, man.
But it was on their website.
Well,
It was a screenshot of the webpage. But
like they said, they posted the wrong one.
Yeah.
Dumbasses. Crazy.
What else do I got? Oh yeah, the Minnesota lead shortage. But they don't even know because they're about to.
Time to act on cannabis is vaporizing for cities and counties. They want to limit recreational marijuana businesses.
Fox 9's Corin Hoggard is tracking them all across the state, and he's live in Richfield right now. Now, Corin, the approaches range from as strict as possible to really pretty loose.
Yeah, that's right, Randy and Karen. They are definitely on all of the spectrum right there. A lot of cities and counties acting right now to kind of regulate the cannabis industry because it is supposed to get started live and legal early next month. And if these local governments don't take action now, it could be a free-for-all.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the motion carries.
Detroit Lakes took a baby step into cannabis regulation last week when its city council agreed on zoning restrictions for cultivation and manufacturing. They hit pause on regulations for retailers, though. So, like a lot of Minnesota cities and counties, they're on a short timeline to finish. Cities like St. Paul and Scandia are poised to give cannabis businesses a fairly open runway.
The cannabis businesses that would be able to sell within the community are very similar to off-sale liquor and tobacco sales. So I would not recommend putting a limit on that.
But public comments in places like Goodhue County reflect communities that wish cannabis wasn't coming at all.
Oh yeah, we're going to bring it in a community, but we're going to make it really safe. That's all BS, and you guys know it. There's no way to make garbage like this safe.
The state law passed last year sets a minimum number of retail licenses in cities and counties at 1 per 12,500 residents. So with almost 48,000 people, Goodhue County is required to allow at least 4. That's where it's headed, with most or all of the retailers in Red Wing or Pine Island. The city of Albert Lea is also aiming for the fewest possible retailers.
It is restrictive as allowed by the state, with only the establishment of 2 at this time.
The law also lets cities and counties set buffers between cannabis businesses and places like schools and daycare facilities. Most of them seem to be setting those at the maximum.
which is normal, right?
Right. That's
I don't know, man. A lot of people are bitching nowadays.
yeah, but they still don't have. It's not like weed came to town and they had an issue, or weed came to the town near them and there was an issue. That's what I don't understand. I mean, yeah, every once in a while, some guy in a truck drives through the sidewall of a grow in Detroit, but there's no real violence taking place.
No.
So what are these people all upset about?
I don't know, man.
Having to see the stoner stand on
Like people need to understand, like there's a lot of like, you know, intelligent stoners out there,
Yeah.
you know. But there's also a lot of dumb ones out there too that don't give us a good name.
No, you're right.
And you know, this is an old story, but I think it's fucking hilarious.
People also waive their right.
Your Honor, I'll agree to waive, but I do want to make a statement on the record.
I love
It
this.
appeared that earlier in this time block that Mr. Lane was rolling a blunt and might have been smoking.
Earlier that day, while Lane waited in the virtual courtroom, he decided to have a smoke. Another defendant waiting for the judge did a double take when he noticed what Lane was up to. While recreational marijuana use is legal in Michigan, Lane is out on bond and strictly prohibited from taking any drugs or controlled substances.
Because he don't got no
Lane
car.
looked cautiously out the vehicle's window, but paid no attention to the phone in front of him that was broadcasting what he was doing, not only on the internet, but directly to the court. He continued smoking during the session and flaunted the blunt up close while Judge Simpson was handling other cases. Court staff took notice and informed the prosecutor.
Your Honor, given that information, I guess we need to adjourn the PCC so Mr. Lane and I can speak further before we wait.
Yeah. I think that might be wise. Mr. Lane, you understand what's happening now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When's the last time you tested?
2 weeks ago.
You were supposed to be testing 2 times per week.
I tested back to back.
Okay, but have you tested this week?
No, sir.
I'm also going to order that you're to report to Community Corrections today for a test.
Your Honor, I have no ride today.
Well, you better find somebody to get you a ride down here.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm ordering a test. You're the one that brought this on yourself by what you did. So I'm ordering a test today.
Okay,
if you
sir.
don't test today, I'm going to be issuing a warrant to have you picked up. You keep laughing, Mr. Lane. I don't think you want to do that. Not with me. You better take yourself off before you think things are too funny. Thank you.
I wasn't laughing at you, sir. I wasn't laughing at you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Case, People versus Chandler Langston.
Lane never made it to Community Corrections that day, nor did he appear at his next conference. Judge Simpson issued a warrant for his arrest and revoked bond.
Wah, wah.
Damn, man.
Judge Simpson's a cool judge. He's a real cool judge.
Right. That shit's horrible, man.
Yeah. Some of these people are not too bright. But they're also the ones going in and buying the garbage weed.
No, for sure, for sure.
But they're not too bright.
No. So what stories you got, man?
I got a really good one, actually. Like, really good one. Rick Johnson,
Yeah.
ex-Michigan House Speaker, strikes out in bid to leave prison early. Former Michigan House Speaker Rick Johnson on Wednesday lost his latest attempt to leave federal prison years early when a federal judge denied his request for compassionate release based on health problems. U.S. District Judge Jane Beckering said the 71-year-old Johnson, a Republican from Leroy, failed to justify why he deserves to leave a minimum security federal prison camp in Minnesota after serving less than 11 months of a 55-month sentence for receiving more than $110,000 in bribes and rigging the state's marijuana industry. The denial was the latest loss for Johnson, the former chair of the Michigan Medical Marijuana Licensing Board. Last month, the judge allowed federal agents to seize Johnson's 40-acre hunting property in northern Michigan because Johnson had failed to pay the $110,200 money judgment stemming from the largest public corruption scandal in Michigan's capital in 30 years. Johnson argued he should be released from the federal prison camp in Duluth because he is suffering from various health problems, but Beckering disagreed. To the contrary, Johnson's medical records from his period of incarceration to date indicate that he is receiving substantial monitoring and care for his different pulmonary, cardiac, and gastrointestinal conditions, and that his health is stabilizing, she wrote. Federal judges are allowed to reduce an inmate's sentence and grant compassionate release based on extraordinary and compelling reasons after wardens have rejected or ignored requests. Nationwide, federal judges have granted compassion release to more than 5,310 people since the fall of 2019. Though Johnson experienced a hypertensive crisis in August, a subsequent search of his room indicated that he had not been taking his blood pressure medications as ordered, the judge said.
What?
Prosecutors fought Johnson's release. They noted Johnson was healthy enough to walk up to 8 miles a day in prison. He wants to enjoy the privilege of better health care outside of prison and be with his wife and daughters and friends, U.S. Attorney Christopher O'Connor wrote in a closing court filing opposing Johnson's release. Johnson should serve his entire custodial sentence as punishment for his crime and to send a strong deterrent message to all public officials that bribery results in meaningful deprivation of liberty. O'Connor wrote, "The rule of law demands it." At sentencing, Beckering called Johnson's actions an unfettered abuse of power and that he took advantage of his position to collect cash payments for himself, feast on free meals, and satisfy his own sexual desires.
What?
Court filings indicated Johnson received repeated trysts with a sex worker who called him Batman. Johnson is not scheduled to be released from prison until June 2027. Johnson and 3 others were convicted in the scandal. Marijuana industry lobbyist Vince Brown, Oakland County businessman John Dawood Delali, and Lansing lobbyist Brian Pierce. Brown was released from a low-security prison in western Pennsylvania on August 6th, 3 weeks after Delali was released from a minimum security prison camp in West Virginia. Brown served less than 9 months of a 20-month sentence for conspiracy to bribe Johnson, while Delali was granted compassionate release from prison less than 9 months into a 28-month sentence for bribing Johnson. So his ass got told to go sit back down
Take your medicine.
and take your medicine.
Uh,
Dumbasses. That was
figuratively and, literally, you punk ass little bitch.
Yeah, well, I just think it's funny that he got caught not taking his
So
medicine.
how long is he's spent in there already? Does it say?
11 months.
So he's done 11 months?
Out of
And how much longer does he have?
44 months.
44 months. Yeah, that doesn't make
He doesn't get parole.
no 40. What's 44 months?
36 months is 3 years. 3 years and 8 months.
Damn. I don't think that's long enough either, man.
No, I would throw away the
I
key.
liked how his property has been like
His hunting lodge they seized.
yeah. Fucking bitch.
Pay your bills, bitch.
Bitch.
You're a ward of the state now, motherfucker.
Yeah. Hey, he ain't in no regular prison, is he?
He's in a federal prison. Minimum security.
Minimum security.
Yeah. I mean,
is there a big difference?
No, he ain't a threat to nobody.
No, yeah. What the fuck does that mean?
He doesn't leave me alone. He doesn't need to be locked into a cage. He's either in a pole barn or old jail cells that they might lock into, but it's not. There's a lot more freedom in places like that than there are in, heavy max security type shit. Now he could end up in protection because he's a former sheriff, but
fuck Rick Johnson.
Yeah. I doubt he has much of a problem. But the other one I got is City of Detroit City Council proposes regulation on marijuana advertisements. Detroit City Council is likely to consider restrictions on marijuana advertisements in the city.
That's awesome, man.
Council member Angela Whitfield Calloway is leading the proposal.
I'm a weed smoker, and I don't appreciate these ads.
That would
billboards.
Prohibit marijuana advertisements from being within 1,000 feet radius of sensitive property, locations that may have an impact on children. The properties include schools, child care centers, juvenile detention centers or correctional facilities, libraries, parks, playfields intended for sports, playgrounds, recreation centers, and more. The ordinance would
and more
alcohol and tobacco advertisements.
So what about freeways?
Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. Whitfield Holloway told the Free Press she is in a statement that she's motivated over concerns for children's health. Earlier this year, Detroit Public Schools Community District Superintendent Nikolai Vitti expressed concerns over the proliferation of marijuana in schools, which has been exacerbated by the legalization of marijuana in the state in 2018.
Man, it's horrible how many fucking fake carts are showing up in school, man.
Between 2000, right?
Total fucking black market trash. Not even
decent stuff.
Yeah.
Between 2021 and 2023, there was over 1,700 reported incidents and hospitalizations due to marijuana use in DPS-CD. This includes students as young as elementary age. Not only is this traumatizing for all involved, but it is highly disruptive to the learning process. As chair of the Youth Civic Engagement Task Force and a lifelong educator, I take my responsibilities to address and prevent substance substance use in children seriously. And she said, adding, we live in a new reality where marijuana is largely accepted and more prevalent in everyday life. However, it remains that marijuana does not belong in our schools. She said her proposal to mirror restrictions on alcohol and tobacco advertising aims to reduce the subconscious exposure and contributes to the normalization of these harmful behaviors. The oversaturation of such has fostered a mentality that everyone is doing it, so it must not be harmful. So they're going after billboards.
And I was reading another article about, you know how the Asians are taking people to California, New Mexico, and all that shit. The free slaves that they're just, well, it's not free to bring them over. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
They're saying, oh, yeah, come help us grow. And then they're just like, oh, yeah, you're not getting paid. You live on the farm. You're not going anywhere. Well, a lot of Albanian gangs are doing that shit over in Europe, too. So, Greater Manchester police arrested 46 Albanian nationals in 2023 and recovered over 10 million pounds. That's money. 10 million pounds worth of cannabis. So, yeah, I mean, that shit's going. A lot of people don't want to pay people anymore.
Nope. Nope.
It's
easier not to.
Cannabis fucking industry is going to shit, man. All this free labor weed. You think that weed's any good? Do you think those people actually care about that weed? No.
I mean,
it's horrible, man.
Right. They're just doing what they're told.
Yeah. And they're doing the same thing in Spain, too. So, shit's crazy, man.
That is crazy.
Shit, man, it's almost that time. You gotta remind people what should people go out and do, man? What?
They should go get a weed card. That's what they should go out and do.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Go out, get your fucking medical marijuana card, y'all. One of the awesome people you can hit up is Detroit Search Center. You can get at them at Detroit Search Center on social media, DetroitSearchCenter.com, or hit them up, call them up, text them up, 248-275-6707. There's plenty of other people out there you can hit up as well. Who are some of those people, Adam?
Michael Dewey up north.
What?
Yeah. GC3 and Vehicle City in Flint. West, what's Palmer's?
Pure West.
Pure West. On the West Coast. You got the Weed Series. Trying to think who else.
You know somebody.
Oh, yeah, we all know somebody.
Everybody knows somebody, so stop making excuses, man. Go out. Get your fucking card, please. Thank you. It helps you legally as well as letting these politicians know that we're still here.
Yep.
And find an awesome caregiver like I do. And a huge shout out to all of our awesome sponsors. Dude, shut up. Native Made 313, Michigan Turf Farms, Nugget Duction Extracts, Tiki Madman, SOB Labs, and Tree Street Packaging. Boom.
Boom.
And also, Ganja Bingo is going on this Saturday. If you know, you know. Native Made is going to be in the house, so you need some awesome edibles. She's going to be in the building, so show up, show out, smoke out. Yeah. If you haven't already, please and thank you, hit the like and subscribe button. And thank you for tuning in to this Monday on Medical Mondays. You got anything to say, Adam?
No.
No.
No, I don't.
Yeah, shout out to Doc Catcher Farms in the chat. KK Flowers. Thank the metric. Get the fuck out of it. What does that mean? Who's metric? It's been a minute since KK has been on the show, man.
Yeah.
We actually have like one more minute. We should send KK the link.
The link?
Yeah.
That's
I want to say I'm friends on Facebook.
That's doable. That's doable.
Thanks the metric. You're talking about big clouds. He got fired. Anthony Freed's lead sucks. I've never had his lead.
I just sent it to him.
Okay. Hey, we're going past 11 tonight. He's probably live right now. Why was he on? Damn. Next week, my boy. Oh man, why not this week? You're probably live with Humboldt anyway, man. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Medical Mondays, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm about to be out of here.
Peace.
I got the fucking munchies.
Yeah, I'm starving, man.
Peace.
Peace.